Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Leah and this is the Leah Way, and I am going to give you my November reading wrap up. So I read a total of 9 books this month. It actually took me to 52 books read out of 50 books in my reading challenge. So I have completed my reading challenge. My initial reading challenge for this year was actually 10 books. I hadn't got back into reading and I was like, I really just want to get back into it. So I gave myself 10 books this year and quickly discovered that I just wanted to continue reading and reading and reading and reading. So I actually upped it to 30 and then 40 and then finally I settled on 50 because I was reaching those numbers really quickly. I read between 7 and 11 books, sometimes even more. I read 21 month in a month. So I am going to challenge myself to read 100 books next year. I think I've lost the plot, but I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to stress myself out doing it, but I feel like if I'm reading around 10 books a month, it's going to be okay. It's going to be quite easy-ish. Anyway, so I thought I would bring you those books. And we start with a couple of books that I sort of finished at the end of October. So I was like a few pages out. So number 1 was the Richard Osman, The Last Devil to Die. I gave this, actually this is the first one out of all of them that I didn't give a full 5 stars to. I had to give it 4 stars. Everything was amazing. I still love the series. I think it's a 5-star series, but I knew right at the beginning who it was. It wasn't really a twist for me, and I hate that. I think that's the problem. It was too predictable, and I liked the other ones that I really enjoyed, like The Bullet That Missed. I think is probably my favourite one. No, The Man Who Died Twice. Like that, I prefer the other ones to this one, and it's still really good. I do know that this is the last one at this point for the Thursday Murder Club, and Richard Osman is going to do some others. I'm very excited for those because I really like his writing. Admittedly, I've not read any of them. I have had them on Audible. I think that's why I've really enjoyed them. So I have, we had, the narrators of each were really good actresses and I loved it. I feel like Richard Osman writes female characters really, really well, and it's all sort of from that point of view. And I like that a lot. It's not often that from a male gaze, the female perspective is particularly good, but they sort of got this on the nose. But I really did enjoy that book. And I have given it 4 stars, which is crazy, where all of them were 5. And it is because of the predictability. And I'm gutted about that. The next book was such a flop. Oh my God, this is a buddy read with my lovely friend, Eb Reads. I will link her channel down below so you can go and check her out. We read this as, and she's already put this in her wrap up. We read this as a buddy read, right? Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. It is a debut novel. Coco Mellors is from, I think she's from London and New York, and you can tell that in this book. There were some really good bits, especially at the beginning, the descriptions of New York. I've been there, so I was like, this is amazing. But there was really good descriptions, and then it really fell flat for me. There was a moment, and both of us felt the same, that was so unnecessary and so heartbreaking that I was just like, I don't get why that was in the book. And then there was other bits that I was like, why didn't we explore that more? Like, yeah, there were storylines from other people that could have just been matured a bit more. They seemed rushed and it didn't really fit well. And I felt like it needed to change. Like there was definitely some issues there. Things were just, what's the word? They were just glossed over. And I didn't really appreciate that. I wanted more depth And I just didn't really enjoy the characters of Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I'm not saying you have to enjoy both of them, but I don't know. I wasn't enamoured by the book, and it was just a bit of a letdown. To be honest, for me, it was a bit of a letdown, and it could have been amazing. Okay, so the next book that I finished was a book that was chosen on a poll for our first ever book club. I created a book club in my area. There wasn't one. Well, there is, but it's during the day and I work. So I was like, I want a book club. So if anybody knows where one is, everybody was like, no. I was like, shall I just make one then? And I did. And we had our first meeting and we spoke about the book. It was One Moment in Time by Shari Lowe. This is, I would say, a rom-com type book, maybe chick lit, contemporary, bit mysterious, meant to have twists, but I gave it 3.5 stars. I raised it to a 4, but it was just very quick read, surface level. There was no depth. It was very fluffy. If you just want a very quick read, it's definitely one to read, but I wouldn't say it was amazing. And it's really annoying because I've 3.5'd it raised to a 4. And it's in the same star category as the Richard Osman book, and I just wouldn't say they were in any way comparable. But it is, well, it's definitely a 3.5 because I really enjoyed it at the time. There was a lot of, again, predictability. I'm not a fan of predictability in books. I like to work out what's happened, but when it's predictable, and it was like each of the characters was slightly predictable. The fact that she had two sisters, one was the mature, responsible one and one wasn't. And like all of those things sort of led me to, I've read this book before. I think that's what it was. I wasn't blown away. It was fine. And 3.5, I think, is a very good score for that book. But it was very quick. It was like 300 pages, but I flew through it literally within hours. The next book is not a normal book that I would read, but I wanted to read it because it was actually a NetGalley read. And it's the Kaii Cafe Bubble Tea, classic, fun and refreshing boba drinks to make at home. And I'm a huge fan of bubble tea. And I thought it was super cute, really good illustrations. I actually gave this a 5 star. I thought it was really, really lovely. And I liked that they had just so many different variations on the theme. And it was just lovely. I thought it was a really lovely book. It is I suppose, a recipe book. But I did read it. I read it from cover to cover. I found it really interesting. I loved some of the recipes. And it was quite a nice short book. It is coming out in January this coming year. If you're a fan of bubble tea, I definitely would recommend it. I'll put the cover up here because it's super cute. Stacey Kwong and Bea Del Mundo are the authors of this book. So I thought it was good. I actually thought it was lovely. So I'm quite happy with that. But there's not a lot you can say about a non-fiction recipe book, apart from it was great. I think it was set out really well. I think it was really easy to get on board with, and the recipes were really good. So it was another month, which meant I read Heartstopper Volume 4. Volume 5 is out next month. I've had one Heartstopper book per month. I've allowed myself. And it's been on my bookshelf the whole time, and I just didn't want to read it yet. And I gave it 5 stars again. It was so good. Alice Osman, what they've done with this book, they've made it so, what's the word? It's like a really feel good, but there's some really hard-hitting stuff in there. But it's just so cute. I love it so much. Sorry, by the way, if you can see things in my glasses, I apologise. I adore this series. And it is because obviously I'd watched I'm trying to just move my glasses so you don't get the shadow. I adore the series. I adore the TV series, and they are so good together. The graphics are amazing. It's so good. And I wish, as somebody who's part of the LGBTQIA+ community, I wish this was available when I was younger. And I know a lot of people that say that, but I just love it. I just love it. It's amazing. And Volume 4 was no different. So Another LGBTQIA plus book, but this was from NetGalley. I chose this ages ago. The cover, I'll show you, is so almost creepy, but wonderful. And it drew me in. It's called Blessings by Chukwuebuka Ibe. And it's about a sort of a queer coming of age story, but obviously in a time and a place that doesn't really understand queer love. And it actually shows the political stuff that was happening around that time in that area I think they're in, are they in Nigeria? I can't remember where they are now. I read it and I loved it, and now I can't remember. Where were they? Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria. There's so many poignant parts. It's a story of family. It's a story of chosen family as well at some points. Fear of being who you are, fear of being your true self. There's grief. There's love, there's resilience. It's completely devastating at points. Like, there's some really difficult parts, and it's also very true. And for a lot of people in Nigeria, and how they have reacted to, for example, gay marriage, etc. It is very interesting, and I was so happy that I got the advanced reader copy from NetGalley. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. This is a debut novel, but it's so beautifully written. And I really think that it's going to, in 2024, this comes out. I want to say it comes out February next year. I just think it's one to watch. This could be, if it's, who published it? Who's publishing it? Penguin. So this could be put forward for a literary prize. I'm putting it out there. I think this is an incredible book. I think that there's going to be more people reading this and they're going to be reviewing it. I absolutely thought this was a stunning read, and it is my favourite book of the month. And that, you know, it's got 4.3 rating already with only 26 ratings at the moment. I just think that's going to get, it's just going to get bigger. I just think it's so lovely. I do think that it's so clever, and it's only it wasn't very many pages. How many pages is it? Do we know? I want to say it was like 240 pages, so it wasn't very much. So many people say how good it is. The reviews are really, really good on here. There is only a few of us because so I asked for the advanced reader copy ages ago, when I first joined NetGalley, and I was waiting quite a while for that to come. I didn't think they were going to accept it, but I have to say it was just so good. If you liked Small Worlds by Caleb Azuma Nelson, there is so many similarities in that to this book in a sort of way. Yeah, I would say there's some similarities in the way it's written, and that it's quite a small book. So just check it out. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Personally, I think you'll enjoy it. So that's my top book this year, for this month, and potentially for this year, actually. So I just loved it. The other book that I read that was actually my first YA book, and this is allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. And Tiffany D. Jackson, I knew there was going to be a twist because this was part of, I've already spoken about her, but my friend, Breed, she did a favourite books with twists. So I knew there was going to be a twist. So I was sort of like, I was ready for it. So it's quite a long book, 390 pages, but I listened to it on Audible. It's so clever, but I did guess it. I guessed the twist. It does slap you in the face at the very end, and if you didn't guess it, you would just be like, what? I'm very good at finding the twists out. I'm reading a book at the moment, and that twist is coming, which is included on this because I'll be finished it today. So, you know, I've got a feeling I know exactly what's going to happen. I hate that though. But it is, I love that narrator that's kind of unreliable. I find that a real, I find that something that I really find intriguing in books, and I want more of that. I found Mary, the young woman who was the narrator, I found her unreliable and I wanted more. It was creepy, it was clever, there was lots of timeline shifts. It's really good. I actually can't believe that this is YA. It was very rough, not rough, like sort of coarse. There was something about it was really ragged, like, and edgy. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I did give it 5 stars. I did enjoy it very much, but I mean, it doesn't beat Blessings, but it's up there. And then I read another non-fiction. I read 2 non-fiction this month for non-fiction November, which I wasn't taking part in, but turns out I read a couple. And that was, it was part of my end of year book tag. It was a book that I'd started that I wanted to finish, which was The Breakup Monologues, The Unexpected Joy of Heartbreak by Rosie Wilby. So I have known Rosie Wilby for a really long time. I went to I think it was 2007, 2008, something like that. Maybe a bit more, 2012 maybe, actually. So I went to the Dave Comedy Festival and watched the Gay Comedy Night in Leicester. And she was one of the acts, and she was talking about breaking up. It was a part of her act, and girlfriends, etc., and being dumped by email and all of that stuff. Anyway, she did, yeah, it says here, in 2011, comedian Rosie Wilby was dumped by email. And though she did feel a bit better about it after correcting Rex's spelling and punctuation, and that was her bit. It was amazing. I really liked her. And we actually added each other back in the day when you would add people on Facebook that even they were like comedians or whatever. So I've always seen her Facebook, and there was a moment in 2000 and I want to say 14 when she posted a post about 2 friends that had broken up. She was talking about the fact that it was not mutual. It's not a mutual breakup. Like, somebody made the decision for that other person that they were going to break up. And she felt that it was unfair that people weren't talking to each other and making that decision together, that somebody was the instigator and somebody just had to put up with it. And I found it really intriguing. This post was a really long post that she put up. Anyway, lo and behold, she gets a podcast about breaking up. And then the podcast led on to the Breakup Monologues, the book. And I wanted to support Rosie, and I started it when I was on I started it on the plane last year, and I couldn't get into it. I really struggle with non-fiction, but I stuck it out. I took it on my walks because it was an audio book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 star. I thought it was very, very good. I think it was interspersed with humour. There was some factual stuff around that, and I'm kind of happy that I managed to get through the book and enjoy it at the end. So I do think that it's a 4 star. I think a lot of people really enjoyed the book. Some people didn't like it though. I think there's a few people that weren't that fazed by it, but I do think it's a great book to read if you want something to make you feel good. It's a very feel-good book. So that is my almost last one, so my penultimate one. The one that I will finish today because it's the 30th of November and I want to include it because I will be including it, is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I've got like 2 hours left and I'm listening to it at the moment. So this is another thriller / mystery, could you say, by Lisa Jewell. I have read The Family Upstairs. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I read it in one sitting. I know that there's going to be some plot twists. I already figured that out kind of right at the beginning. I might be completely wrong. If it completely throws me, I will let you know. But I am finishing that today and it's for our book club. So I want to get that done so that I can move on to the next thing as soon as I can. But I have to say I quite enjoy Lisa Jewell, but I knew Lisa Jewell way before she was doing thriller mystery type books. I read her debut novel, which was a rom-com, years ago, a long time ago. But it was, I can't even remember what it was called now. I feel like it was like a flat share type thing. I can't remember. Anyway, that's how long ago it was. I enjoy the books. I have only read 2. This is my second one of the more recent books that she's been producing. So I've enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to just finishing this off today and writing my review. If you want to, I am on Goodreads. I'm on Storygraph as well. I will link those down below because I think it's important that we, support each other. And you can... I am looking for people to do buddy reads with. I have done one buddy read with somebody on a Storygraph from here, and I loved it. And I have done, I would like to do more, actually. So if there's anybody that wants to do a buddy read with me, just comment below. I'd love to do that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please let me know down below what books you read in November. My TBR will be coming up for December, and it's going to be kind of small. I've done my books this year. I've got a lot going on in December, so I think it will just be finishing off the books that I've started, which are Perfume, but The Story of a Murderer, which I'm annotating at the moment. I'm halfway through it and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm taking my time. And All the Little Bird Hearts, I also want to finish off. And then I've got 4 books that I need to finish, and I don't think I will, because one of them's The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I don't think I'm going to get that finished. But there are a few that I would like to finish off so that I can, just move into the new year afresh. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe, please do. It really makes my day. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.